Welcome back to another episode. Today's topic is slow. Now, when you hear slow, no one wants to be slow. Everybody wants to be fast. What's up with slow, right? Slow is a part of strategy for using time wisely. And so anyone who knows that how important time is, you need to be fast and you need to be slow. And so you may not be thinking exactly about the times that you're actually slow, but they're actually really important. So you know that, if you're walking across the street and let's say there are no lights, because maybe you're not walking in a walk, you need to be very careful when you actually choose to cross that road. Why? Because there could be speeding cars, right? So the whole idea is when you actually make your decisions and you execute, you want to execute quickly. But when you're analyzing a situation, you just don't want to jump in, right? So they had games like that when we grew up. Frogger, right? The frog had to actually cross the road and you had to figure out how fast the car is coming, right? So when you make a decision, you need to execute, but when you think about what you need to do when you're taking in your information, you need to slow down. And that's actually a part of using time wisely. All right? So, how do you actually slow down? You take your time. You don't rush because someone else says, go. You take a moment, you stop, you get your bearings, and you make the decision as opposed to someone else making the decision. That's probably the biggest, most important thing about slowing down is you're actually the one making the decision. So you're making sure you have enough information to make an intelligent decision. All right? So what are the challenges with being slow? Now, I'm sure you can think of these pretty easily, right? So probably the first one this day and age is instant gratification. So many people want the results now. They're not willing to wait, right? And so that little lesson where, you're growing up and your parents said, hey, you know what? There's a cookie on the table. You can have that cookie, but if you wait 5 minutes or 10 minutes, we'll give you 2 cookies. And that lesson was to allow you to understand the incentives that were in place for you, right? So if you're someone who really appreciated cookies, then you could have 1 now, or you could have 2 later. So if you really wanted the 2, you'd have to be willing to wait. So that's a game that was played when we were younger. But there's all sorts of games going on right now. And if you're like me, or most of the people, in this world, you have a cell phone, or a mobile phone, or a smartphone. And with that, you get all these notifications. It's like you win the lottery every time your phone calls out to you, right? You hear a ding, or a buzz, or a sound tone, or whatever it is. That's essentially what instant gratification helps to create. So that can be a challenge, especially when you want to slow down. Because when you want to slow down and you're getting calm, then all of a sudden you hear your phone ring or buzz or whatever, you want to pick it up or you want to take a look at it, right? And that's an attention stealer, right? So when you actually want to slow down, you want to be focused. You want to be in full control of your attention. And when you're not, that is a distraction. And so noise can get in the way, and we want to stop that. So we actually want to be able to create an environment where we are not distracted. We're in a mental focus that everything kind of slows down and all the distractions kind of disappear. Now, there's certain things that you can do even with those distractions present, but you need to be able to get into an intense level of focus where those things don't even faze you, right? So that's something that you're going to have to work on and practice at. But other pieces with that, it's not just the instant gratification, it's being around others. There's this idea of peer pressure. And peer pressure is when someone makes you feel the way that they feel, right? So there's this pressure to want to fit in. There's this pressure to wanting to look intelligent or be smart. And with that, there's a tendency to want to do what other people want us to do. And part of slowing down is making that decision-making process yours, not someone else's. So this whole idea of peer pressure can also get in the way. I remember my wife told me before, she says, oh, I have an old phone. I'm actually using her phone right now to film this video. She's like, I have an old iPhone 6S, and my friends are just like, oh, you have the 6S? I'm surprised you don't have like the 11 or the new 12 that came out. And she's someone that has a lot of networks. So peer pressure is something that is a bigger factor on her than it is on me. So her big gift to herself this year was to get an iPhone 11, and she felt very happy about that. Did she actually need it? Not necessarily, but that's what she wanted, right? Because it helped her within her networks, and she didn't have to worry about those looming eyes like, oh, you got the 6S, right? But me, if you actually ask me, I like the idea of having an unlimited cell phone plan. So we had Verizon a couple years back, and we were able to get the unlimited plan. And once we did, I said, we are never getting rid of this. Never getting rid of this. Why? Because they're charging exorbitant fees now in order for you to get data, right? But we have data out the wazoo. So I consider that to be incredibly important. As a result, I actually have old phones. I have an old phone, but I have unlimited data. I'd much prefer that to having a new phone and not having unlimited data, right? So sometimes when we slow down, we can make better decisions. And that's what it's all about, making better decisions. So don't feel as though you're falling behind if you actually aren't doing the same thing that everyone else is, because that's what slowing down essentially allows you to do. It allows you to identify what is important. So if you are looking to practice how do you slow down, what's important with that, you need to know what you want to slow down for. And there are a few things that are incredibly important that slowing down will allow you to do. You're making important decisions. You need to understand the sacrifice. If you want to create something that has a lasting impact, that requires planning. It's going to require your time. If you want clarity or understanding, you want to slow down until you actually get it. Then you can speed up. And then last but not least, if you have a deadline. But here's the thing. Usually the deadlines make you want to work faster. You want to do whatever slowing down you need to do, but you don't want to go past the deadline. So that's kind of the constraint you want to make sure that you're aware of. And if you want some tips on how to slow down, there's always meditation. All meditation is really breathing. It's breathing and it's a level of focus where even if you're surrounded by noise, you can actually learn to cancel all that stuff out. So slow, deep breathing, I think 4-second breaths is actually something that helps out a lot. In addition to that, quiet time to yourself. When you actually control the environment, if you can get away from whatever noise you normally have to deal with, whether it's colleagues or kids or whatever else, and you can just focus on your thoughts and be one with yourself, you're going to be in great shape. So make sure that you practice being slow. It's not something to be frowned upon. It's just something that a lot of people don't understand, unfortunately. But there's times to be fast and there's times to be slow. So I hope you enjoyed some of the content that I explained just now. I hope it's something that resonates with you, and I hope you actually have the opportunity to practice being slow. Again, nothing wrong with that, because that means you're thinking and you're making a better plan for your future. So, hope you enjoyed, and can't wait to catch you on the next clip. Bye.